the GSOC series that we have been doing for a while now. In today's video, we'll be going through a few more GSOC proposals, and we'll try to draw insight from these proposals as to how exactly we should be approaching proposal writing. So without wasting any more time, let's start with the first proposal. This has been contributed to us by Priyanshu Nayan. Mind that all the proposals that I'm going to show you right now have been selected in GSOC 2020. This particular proposal was for the Hydra ecosystem. If you remember, in one of my videos, I was going through the list of organizations, and Hydra was one of them. So don't worry if you are not able to read it right now during the video. I'll be sharing the link to these proposals for you guys to go through them and maybe take some ideas. Right, so as you can see, this particular proposal, and most likely every proposal, starts with an introduction, a basic introduction of the ecosystem itself. Now, the thing that I would suggest to you guys is don't introduce the ecosystem to the mentors themselves. I mean, they obviously know what Hydra ecosystem is. Introduce yourself, rather. Talk about yourself. That would be a better thing to do in the introduction. Here it seems like the student has explained the project again, but anyway. So here comes the proposal, straight to the point. List of deliverables, the main points. I think he has described every point that he has made in the deliverable to a greater extent. This may or may not be a good idea depending on the organization, of course, but it's okay if you want to go into a bit of depth regarding how you're going to implement it and explain your idea in much more detail. A thing that I usually ask people not to do is write pseudocode or any kind of code related thing in the proposal, because honestly, people are not going to read it. Okay, it will just make it lengthy, and most likely people don't like reading a lot when there are tons of proposals to go through. But anyway, this particular student has given in a bit of pseudocode and went through the description of each point with code examples, right? Then I think he has went into a bit more of implementation detail, and I guess he has mentioned his tech stack as well. He has drawn mockups. Okay, so this is something that you might want to do if you're working on a UI project. Showing them mockups of what you are going to deliver may be a good idea. He has described a bit more about other topics which are related to the project, of course, but probably what he's trying to do here is basically giving the mentors an idea of the challenges that he might face. This is a good strategy sometimes, because people get to know that you already have figured out what you need to fix, and the general trend is, at least if you know what the problem is, you have already done 50% of your work, right? So this is one good thing. He has also mentioned additional tests. Cool. Refactoring and tests. Anyway, so this is basically, I guess, the complete description of what he's going to deliver, and he has gone into too much detail regarding this, which may or may not have been necessary. In my opinion, it wasn't necessary. And then he started with the timeline. As you can see, they have been distributed over weeks. Oh no, he has not distributed them over weeks. He has just mentioned them in month-wise basis, because there are 3 months in your GSOC project. So he has described this as complete month point wise. This is okay, but it is always a good idea if you can describe things in a week by basis, because that gives the mentors an idea that you already know how much work you'll need to do in order to finish each task. So if you are able to shrink things to the point where you can exactly say that I'll be able to do this within a week, then that gives the mentors a bit more confidence about yourself. Other than that, he has mentioned previous work, which is basically the contribution that he has done so far in the organization. He has also mentioned a bit about himself in the courses and certifications. Funny enough, he has mentioned about me here, which in my opinion should have been at the top, but it's okay, right? And contact info, so that's it. So this is honestly, I think it's a very straightforward proposal, and for bigger organizations it may look a bit unprofessional, a bit, but that's good. I mean, it's totally fine if you are straight to the point and the mentors already know what you have done so far, so it's like less hassle. So this proposal is good, of course, and it's selected, so obviously it's good, right? Next we have Open Refine. This proposal has been contributed to us by Kush Trivedi. He was one of my juniors in Force Asia, as far as I remember. So he has started with a different approach. He has started with goals first. So that's a very different kind of strategy. Possible mentors. Okay, he has also mentioned the possible mentors. Anyway, so this might be a good idea if you wanna see. The thing is, the mentors receive hundreds of proposals, right? And it's always best to mention the points that you want them to see as soon as possible in the proposal. So some people usually get their attention by making themselves look good, by writing about me or introduction in the starting, because that is the first part the mentors will read, and if they see that you have like a huge amount of experience, then they'll probably think of going through your proposal. But this also is a good strategy, because in this the mentors will know that you have already figured out where to work, right? So then it starts with about me, availability. So this is the section that I mentioned, where you need to mention about your obligation, how much time you'll be able to invest. Other than that, he has mentioned about the key areas that he'll be working on. Okay, cool. A bit of mock-up here. Main questions to settle. So basically he's working his way into describing the problem statement that he has figured out and he'll be working on. So that's good. Okay, and here's the timeline again. So as you can see, this has been done in a week by week basis, so this is more detailed, and of course this looks good. Here's the more work you put in making your proposal look good, the higher the chances that your proposal will be seen, right? So keep that in mind. So he has also mentioned the community outreach thing that I talked about, and contributions to Open Refine, and that's it. I guess it's a very straightforward proposal, not beating around the bush. So I think that's good. That's totally something that would get anyone's attention. All right, moving on to the next one. CNCF. So this is the this is again by Kush Trivedi, but this is the organization that he went with. Even though both were selected, both the proposals that he has shared were selected, but he went with Cloud Native Computing Foundation because this has a better reputation as compared to the other organization, of course. So in this one he has done a good deal of work, as you can see, right? In this one he has made a little bit of index. He has mentioned basic information in table, the project details, the description, the mentors, why this project, and so on and so forth. Immediately when the mentor sees this index, he knows that this guy has put in a bit of work. Let's straight away go through the proposal and see what he has done, Now he has mentioned the things in the same pattern he did for the other proposal. Why me and availability at the start, contribution at the start, then he describes his timeline and community outreach. That's it. So he has described the problem statements that he will be working on, I guess, in the overview section. Okay, that's good. That is also straight to the point. So I think by going through different proposals, you might get an idea of what you can skip and what is really important. But of course, as a rule of thumb, you can stick to the sections that I mentioned in the previous video. But if you feel confident, you can of course take these routes as well. So this proposal has been submitted to us by Yash Khare, and this was selected for the MIFOS organization. And in this, he has started with the project idea right from the start. He has mentioned the deliverables right here. Okay, now he has started mentioning about the challenges that he'll be working on. So he has also mentioned the code blocks that he expects to use in the project, which may or may not be a good idea depending on how you want to do the whole proposal. As in, if you want to keep it more descriptive, of course you can go with it, but it's totally up to you how much information you want to stuff into it. If it's really attractive, if you're very confident that the very first few sections of your proposal will get the attention that you're looking for, of course you can go with a bit more detailed approach, right? So there. So it's already 25 pages. So then we are still going through the challenges that he wishes to tackle. And finally, I think he has also touched upon a bit of UI work. Okay. And prerequisite work. Okay. Alternative approach. Timeline. Okay, he has mentioned why he is the right fit, and a bit about himself, career goals, prior open source experience, of course, what kind of work he has done so far, or the experience that he has. Previous so I guess that's it. It was a very detailed proposal, so this is in contrast to what we saw so far. So this is very detailed, 25 pages. So again, as you can see, both were selected, so you need to make your call which type of proposal you want to write. And finally, let's go to the Kivix. This is again contributed to us by Yash Khare, and this is for the Kivix Android user experience, so Kivix project, I guess. He has started with his basic description, a bit more about himself. Okay, skill sets. Okay, all right, experience, so prior experience, whatever he has done so far. Okay, now he has started talking about the kind of work he wants to do, or the kind of changes that he wants to make to the project, deliverables, core objectives, the project in itself. So he has given a bit more detail about what he wants to do, bit of mock-up here and there. Okay, all right, so this one again is a very detailed proposal. As you can see, this is 22 pages, right? So usually people, even the mentors, recommend students not to write such lengthy proposals, because they'll have to go through the whole thing. That is very difficult if you have hundreds of proposals being submitted to you, right? So make your mentor's life easy, keep your proposals impactful, but at the same time as brief as it can be, right? Anyway, then He has talked about the timeline. Of course, this has been again divided into a week by week basis. And why should Google and QX sponsor this project? Interesting. Why me? And work after GSOC. So the kind of maintenance work he might be doing after GSOC has been completed. So yeah, I think of course this is also selected, so this works as well. So my suggestion or my advice regarding this would be, you need to make the call whether or not you want to go with the lengthy approach or the brief approach, but you need to make sure that it is very impactful, and you would be responsible for the fact whether or not your proposal is read completely, right? If it is too boring, if it does not have that much of impact, you might get rejected, right? So it will be a good idea if you can keep it to the point, and if it does not have too much of things that are unnecessary, right? There are people who do that, of course, to make their proposal look good or maybe look it a bit more fluffy. They add in a lot of text that is unnecessary. But if you can express yourself in less number of words, it makes you look very articulated, as if you know what you're doing. So it is a good idea to keep yourself precise. But of course, you can take the other approach. If it works, it works. But in my opinion, try to keep yourself as specific and brief as possible. I think that's it for this video. I'll share the link to these proposals for you guys to see in detail. And if you have learned anything from this video, consider subscribing to it. Share this video to students who might want to get involved in GSOC. And I mean, the main goal of starting this video series was to prevent the spread of false information, or people who just make videos for likes and views that does not deliver anything. I mean, I've seen people making videos on GSOC who haven't even done GSOC, so I don't know, man. I just don't know how to react to that. Anyway, if you guys have doubts regarding anything, feel free to contact me. Okay then, take care. Bye bye.